Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm looking at the Fosi Audio MD3 portable DAC amp, or dongle DAC if you will. This is the portable DAC amp that Fosi originally had on Kickstarter, and now as of May 25th it has been released for sale globally, I understand. And well, today I'm looking at this, and full disclosure, Fosi Audio did send me the MD3 for review, but as always, they had no say or input into the contents of this video, and they don't even know that I'm actually doing this video in the first place. I have a written review of this on my website, but they do not know I've even decided to do a video about it. And I decided to do a video about this because I thought this was a very interesting device, and I wanted to try to show off some of the features and maybe a little talk about it. So let's bring up the specifications first. So the Fosi Audio MD3 released on May 25th, it goes for $149 US. It uses an ESS Sabre ES9039Q2M DAC and 4 ESS ES9603Q amplifier chips. It has a 3.5mm and 4.4mm balanced outputs, two USB-C inputs, one on the top, one on the bottom. It supports UAC 2.0 and UAC 1.0, and they run at the respective sampling rates that you see on the screen. It has a low and high gain mode, USB-C charging pass-through, an LCD display, digital filters, a magnetic backplate that we'll get to, and it is very light at 50 grams. So this is a kind of interesting device, right? Actually, no, first let's get into what comes with this, which is also interesting. So the box right here, it's a nice simple box, and you get two cables. You get this angled USB-C to USB-C cable. This one supports charging, and you get this USB-C to USB-C cable, which just supports the data transmission. You get a magnetic ring here with a sticky end on one side, so you can stick it to something, and a USB-C to USB-A adapter, nice to see, and a manual. And what I kept these bags here because I thought it was interesting that the USB-C cables actually come in these anti-static bags, which you don't see very often in audio gear. Usually it's in computer hardware that you see stuff like this, and I just thought that was kind of cool that, you know, these come in those anti-static bags. It gives a nice impression when you're opening the box. Like, it's kind of interesting, right? Anyways, so that is what's in the box. But what is this thing? So this is a very nicely built portable DAC with a magnetic back on it, as we can see here. It's made of CNC machined aluminum. It comes in this black color as well as a gray color. I think this is called Obsidian, and the gray is called, or silver is called Galaxy. They both look nice. I like this color. This is kind of nice black color to it, and it has this you know, the typical utilitarian Fosi Audio quality to it, but they had a little fun with it. I think they have some nice, you know, design etchings on it. Again, it's aluminum on the outside with a leather back. Very nice, very small. The front has what is called the Vista button, which we'll get to, and the sides here have a volume up, volume down, and a multifunction button. And if you can hear, nice and clicky, but not too clicky. This button is a little bit more clicky. But otherwise, it's nice buttons. The whole thing actually feels solid and nice. And I also appreciate this little Fosi Audio engravement on the side here. The bottom has the USB-C with 3.5mm and a 4.4mm balanced output. And then the top has a USB-C connection there too. And this is because you can pass charging through here so that you can connect this to a source device while charging it at the same time, which is rather interesting, right? Basically the magnetic back is, I think, the unique feature here. And so I have my iPhone 16, so it has the MagSafe built into it. And the entire point is that, you know, usually you have dangling dongles for a dongle DAC, right? But here, slide it into place and no sliding. Now, it's not the most, like, powerful magnet on this thing. It's not like on typical Apple devices where it's like really powerful, but pretty decent. If I shake it, it will move, but otherwise it's pretty good. I do appreciate it. I don't think you're necessarily going to be putting this in your pocket like this, but you can put it in a bag, you know, or something. Or you just have it, like, let's say you're on a plane and you just put your phone in the pocket, in the seat in front of you, right? That kind of thing. Or even just on your desk like this, or like this. So it's kind of a nice feature. And they include this ring here so that you can attach it to your phone or to a case or something. But like I said, it's not the most, like, not the strongest one. This is the case for my Galaxy Fold 7, which I'm using it to shoot this video right now. And so there is a magnetic thing built into the case, but I also have this other one here because, well, otherwise it's a little bit too close to the camera cutout. So if I put it on here, it's kind of same deal. Like, it's secure enough that it won't shake too much, but it's not that powerful. I feel like the magnet should be a bit more powerful here. Again, not the hugest deal, but I would like to see that as an improvement in hopefully another version of this, because I do think this is a cool concept. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, this is, I think, a very cool concept to have something that attaches to your source device like that, so that you can listen to music and plug it in at the same time. So basically how that would work is you would attach this and you would attach this, and it turns on just like that. And maybe zoom in here. So that is basically what it looks like, and that is pretty damn cool, I think. Right, so you have this, you connect your headphones here, there's no shaking of it off too much, right? The menu system, I'll call it the software, but it's really just the UI of this thing. It looks like this. So this is showing you all the basic information right now. So it's on high gain with filter 3 and UAC 2.0 enabled. It has the 28 to the volume and PCM 48 kilohertz. Yes. And if we click the menu button, or the multifunction button, we get the menu system. And here you can change the USB mode. Photo sync, we'll get to that in a moment. The output gain, and you just use the volume buttons to navigate, and then the multifunction button to confirm each selection. Source volume on and off, which is cool. Digital filters, I'll get to those in a little bit, but we have 8 of them. Brightness, which, you know, maybe I'll turn, oh, it is at 100. Which maybe I would like to see the brightness a little bit brighter, but overall it's pretty good. You have to remember this is being powered by the phone, so the more power it uses, the more battery it drains from your phone. Screensaver options and saver mode, slideshow, rotate. This can rotate the screen, which is cool. Software version, that kind of stuff. So it's pretty basic stuff, and then you turn the volume up on here and turn it down, and you see it shows on the screen. So pretty nice, pretty cool. I do like that. And then I'll just show you maybe the charging pass through here. So just plug that in, and on the phone, shows it's charging. Nice. I'll just unplug it. Here, let's do it like this maybe. So you can see in real time, no tomfoolery going on here. There we go. Cool. Pretty awesome. I like that feature. I think it's good because, again, like I said, this will drain your phone's battery. So you do want it to, you know, have this kind of feature. It's pretty handy. I do like the connectivity options as well with the 3.5mm and 4.4mm balanced outputs. And the 3.5mm output has up to 80 milliwatts per channel, and the 4.4mm balanced can do up to 180 milliwatts per channel, which is not too bad. I did mention that there were some digital filters here, and what I think I'll do is just bring up... So in my written review here, on my website, HiFi-Oasis.com, these are the 8 filters you have. So minimum phase, which is a default filter, apodizing, fast linear LR, slow linear, fast min, slow min, and low dispersion. Now, I had to do a lot of digging in order to find out what exactly is the proper names and the intended use cases for all of these filters, because Fosi Audio does not tell you anything. A little bit annoying, right? And I thought that it would be good to try to figure this out, because it's not like it's like EQ or anything. You're not going to hear huge differences, but there are differences if you hear them between the different filters. And I say if you hear them because it really just does depend on your level of hearing, because everybody hears differently. So I did some research onto the DAC, the ESS DAC that's in here, and typically these are what it is. So the minimum phase is the default filter. Personally, the fast linear, which is the linear phase fast roll-off, I like this one a lot. This filter actually in general, which is on a lot of different DACs, I do find myself leaning towards this one a lot. As well as the minimum phase, I do quite like that. The fast linear LR, for example, stands for linear phase fast roll-off low ripple. And the low dispersion filter at the bottom, the very last one, is a minimum phase slow roll-off low dispersion filter. So in my review, my written review, I did add where I got these references from, and I had to kind of put all that together. So I hope that is actually all accurate, but Audio Science Review is a pretty good website about that stuff for digging into those details. So I wanted to just put that out there because it is something that not everyone will know or care to know. And if you don't care about those types of things, then, well, you know, that's totally fine actually, but better to know than not know. So this thing has something called, as you saw, there was a photo sync option, and it's for this button here. And this is the Vista button. So if we press it once, we get this little slideshow of animated pictures or static images. So this is a built-in one. This is also a built-in one, kind of cool, right? This is one I put on, so you can put on your own images. And there's another one I put on, that's Mount Fuji, and another one of Mount Fuji. Yeah, so it's kind of cool that you can put your own stuff on here, and there's a website that Fosi has created where it'll help you format your pictures properly to put it on here, because there's a limited amount of storage. Basically, in the menu, you select photo sync, and then you connect this to a computer. It shows up as an external USB drive, and you just copy the pictures into the photo folders. It's pretty straightforward and simple. If I do 2, we get, basically, if you click it twice, it changes through the different photo options, and there is even games on here. So this is kind of cool. These like animated ones, very cyberpunky anime. And here is a game, roll the dice, and it just goes through. Click it again to start again. Spin the bottle. Pretty cool. And rock, paper, scissors. And it'll land on rock. and then it goes back to the beginning. So it's a cycle that repeats. It's a very basic kind of programmatic kind of thing. You know, it adds a little bit of fun to something that usually isn't very playful, right? So you have this on your phone, and you listen to music, you're just kind of doing stuff like that. It just gives a nice little personal aspect to it. So if we go here and we double click here, we can actually change the orientation, which is cool because you can orient this in different ways. And we can do every 90 degrees, different rotation, which is very nice. I do appreciate that. Little things like that, I think, go a long way to the whole user experience. As I mentioned, power output, 80 milliwatts per channel at 32 ohms for the 3.5 and 180 milliwatts per channel at 32 ohms for the 4.4 millimeter output. You know, doesn't sound like a lot of output power, but you know, it's pretty good for, I would say this is intended for IEMs. So from that aspect, I think it's a pretty good amount of output power on both outputs, to be honest. Now, what I did notice is I found myself leaving it on high gain, because on low gain, even for a lot of IEMs, I'd have to crank it up to like volume 40 to get a proper output level. Now it's 100 steps of volume, so max 100, and I do appreciate the fine grain steps of that, because especially for very sensitive IEMs, like one step can actually be quite a big difference generally. So having 100 steps helps do a gradual up or down, you know, in the volume. And actually, one moment, I'm just going to get a couple IEMs and I will show you exactly how this will connect. All right, so this is the Zygat Horizon. This is one of my favorite IEMs right now. And you may notice the USB-C connection kind of sits close to the outputs, right? But it actually doesn't really interfere with it. So we plug this in and it isn't too bad, to be honest with you. There is just enough room there. Now, obviously this termination is on the larger side. Not all IEMs have terminations larger than this. Some do have larger, so if it is larger than this, you will have a problem, or you could switch to the balanced output. But generally speaking, you should be fine. I'll just use another one here. This is the 64 Audio Solo. This is one of my favorite IEMs. Fits like a glove perfectly. Beautiful. And then if we take, for example, cleaner reference, also a really good IEM. This has a little bit chunkier, like kind of L-shaped angled connector, and it also fits just fine, as you can see. Very nice. So it generally should not be an issue here for that. Now, also, we have the Andromeda Campfire Audio Andromeda 10. And the reason I bring this out is because this is kind of a sensitive IEM. And if something does not have a low noise floor, or it has a higher minimum output impedance, I'm going to hear background hiss and I'm going to hear noise. And I like to use this to test different products for that. And on the Fosi Audio MD3, I do not hear any background hiss at all. It is dead quiet. The noise floor is very low. Maybe if you have something more sensitive than this, or even than the SimGot EA1000, which is another one of my favorite IEMs. Didn't hear any noise with that one. So maybe if you have something more sensitive than that, that might be an issue. But for these ones, I did not hear anything. It performed like just flawlessly, which is what I would want from something like this that is intended to be used with IEMs. Now, for over-ear headphones, this actually does work pretty good. Most of my headphones are fine until you get to something more powerful, like say certain planars, like the HiFi-Man Sundera. kind of was reaching the limit on the volume, and I also wasn't getting the full presentation, I think, that I'm accustomed to hearing with that headphone when I use more powerful DAC amps. Same goes for the Sennheiser HD660 S2. Not even close, actually. I don't think I would recommend that for using it with this. The Focal Azuris, one of my favorite closed-back headphones, worked fine on this. HiFi-Man Edition XV also worked really well on this. So generally speaking, for over-ear headphones that are on the more efficient side, this will be just fine. Don't expect miracles here though. One interesting thing is power consumption. So using the iPhone 16 here, I was getting, with the screen on 100% brightness and the screen on all the time at a volume level of 35 and a high gain, I was getting about 14–15% loss over like 2 hours pretty consistently, which means it's about 7 to 8% per hour. That's on the high side. And I wasn't doing anything on the phone. It was literally just sitting here playing music in Apple Music, tracks that were already downloaded, basically. Not basically, they were already downloaded in lossless. And it was losing, 14–15% over 2 hours. So it's kind of a lot. Now turning off the screen and also setting the brightness down to 60%. So I set it so that it turns the screen off after 10 seconds and the brightness was at 60. So that if I had to look at the volume or something, it would go up, brightness was low and the screen would turn off right away. Doing it that way was much better. So it was only about 4 to 6% per hour, or 10–11% over 2 hours. So I did achieve some battery savings compared to leaving it on all the time. And I would recommend to do it that way. Set the brightness a little bit lower if you don't need it, and then definitely set it so that the screen turns off after 10 seconds, because it will eventually drain your battery. But that's also why there's the charging pass-through on here. So I think that those are important aspects to consider. So that said, that brings us to the sound quality section. So this is a nice ESS DAC in here. I think it's actually one of ESS's newer DACs in the last few years they've been using. So it's been in a lot of products now. It's very well tested. It's very clean, just low distortion. Overall, like objectively speaking, it has like a nice, clean, maybe slightly smooth sound to it. Again, it kind of fits into the whole design philosophy of this thing, of it just being working and just clean, right? Get more into the subjective side. I don't like to associate like certain sound profiles necessarily with certain DACs, because a DAC is just converting the, it's a digital to analog audio converter, right? Like technically it should be bit perfect, and then there should not be any difference between, one DAC and another. But what does influence it is certain tuning changes with the overall circuitry and the product itself. Those can certainly influence the sound. So I know I say this because a lot of people say that ESS DACs have a kind of harsher edge to them, and especially in the treble, and I don't necessarily believe it to be the case with all ESS DACs. I think maybe that part of it could be placebo, and part of it could be just a tuning choice of the product that it's being used with. So I will call this my subjective listening impressions, because I have no objective way to prove what I'm saying other than just that's what I hear. So other than it just being a good clean output with very low noise floor, so no background hiss, this has a slightly warm sound signature, especially maybe in the mid-range. Gives it a more natural presentation, which is good for all day listening. A lot of good clarity, accurate tone. It's very comfortable, fairly uncolored. The bass performance is very controlled, reasonably punchy. I think it gives like, you know, bass notes, a lot of good body and texture without sounding boring, and definitely not muddy or anything. And it gives you a lot of detail in the layering. Mid-range, very clean and natural. Vocals are spot on. I don't think they're recessed or even forward. They're just like right there. Especially like male vocals, actually, there's just enough warmth to give them some, just to sound full and textured. Female vocals also sound really good, but they don't sound shrill. Just sound very nice overall. Again, treble is detailed, but I didn't find it aggressive. So overall, it's maybe a slightly warm sounding DAC, especially maybe in the upper bass, lower mid-range, but very clean, uncolored. Technically, like, the technical performance is really good. Didn't have any issues with like detail or resolution. Using it with something like the Campfire Audio Andromeda 10 did not feel like that this was holding that back at all. Same with the 64 Audio Solo. Did not feel like this DAC amp was holding back what I was hearing from those IEMs. And you know, that's kind of really what you would want and what you expect in a product like this, right? Yeah, I know it's a $150 DAC amp and you're using it with $1,800 IEMs, but I mean, kind of it should be that way, right? And that's what you want. And I think Fosi Audio really, if that's their intention, they achieved it, I think. Besides the fact that it's also supposed to be a nice, portable, conveniently usable portable DAC. So I did mention that it's a $149 US, and I think that is a little bit high. And I say that because there are a lot of other cheaper options for a portable DAC. $150 is a lot when you're considering the output power that this has and the fact that it doesn't have Bluetooth, because a lot of portable DACs in this price range do have Bluetooth. But, and a battery too, for that matter. But you know, I guess as a product that is more about sounding good and convenient, and is convenient, this really does achieve that. And I guess the value is just going to be up to you. If $150 is something you're willing to spend for this, and I'm not saying that it is too overpriced or anything like that, because I think everyone needs to make that judgment themselves about what is valuable for them. But if that is worth it to you, I think that is worth the price if this is your intention to be using it like in a convenience like this. It sounds great, and I think that, like, if it sounds great and the convenience aspect is worth it, then I think that's all you need. I do think it could have benefited from some power optimization to maybe draw a little bit less power from the phone. I don't know how you would achieve that, but again, I think power consumption is a little bit high, but not out of the realm of what you would expect for a portable DAC. And having the charging pass through is actually kind of nice in this regard. So, you know, it's overall a well-balanced product, I think. And honestly, I don't really have too many bad things to say about it. It's just a pretty solid product. Fosi Audio did a good job. And I maybe would like to see some customization in the interface a bit, especially on the main screen here. But again, it's really hard to fault it when it does so many things right. And it's just like, it's just a nice looking and good sounding DAC amp. So I think that about sums it up. Let me know what you guys think about this, and even those of you who maybe got in early on the Kickstarter, because I'd like to hear what everyone's experiences have been up to this point. I've only had this for maybe a month and a half, but there were people who had it well before that, and it would be nice to hear from their experience as well. And for anyone who's considering this, what do you guys think about it? What would you like to see Fosi improve on the MD3, on the Mag DAC? All right, guys, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.